So the next thing I guess is I got to put the media in, and I've rinsed it. I'll rinse it a little more, but I just divided over, put them in separate buckets and rinse them off. They come with a lot of dust and goo on them, so I just rinse them off and let them drain, and then I'll go put them in the buckets. I don't think they need to dry, but when I first did it, there was a lot of brown coming out of the bottom of these buckets. These buckets have holes in them, so should be good to go. It's kind of funny, you can hear them. Maybe you can hear them as they settle. They float, which is, I think, kind of interesting. All right, I've been debating, should I put the media in first, or should I put the water in first so that it's a little easier to check it out while it's running. Left a tool over there. I think I'll put the water in. But it's not real fast. The main bucket is filling up considerably faster. Oh, that one's hardly moving. Well, that's interesting. Well, this one's nearly full, and the other buckets are only partial. I don't know if you can see. Siphoning out. So I think I'm gonna plug it in. We'll see what happens. I'm gonna move you over where you can see. Okay, the water's kind of levelized. I don't know if you can see where it is down there, maybe off the reflection, and this one is about the same height. So let's plug it all in, see what happens. They flow at different rates, which is kind of interesting. So let's put some more water in it. From what I understand, you're supposed to fill it up so that there's about 1/4 of an inch of water in the bottom of the baskets. Looks like the water in the grow buckets is maybe about 2 inches down from the bottom of the baskets. These two buckets have quite a bit of water in the bottom of them. And these two, well, this one's just about up to the bottom of the bucket, and that one's down from the bucket. That tells me these drain too fast. And they are a little uphill from the other one. The bleachers are not exactly level. I think maybe I should level it out and see if that makes a difference. All right, I'm gonna let this run for a little while. Okay, so I got the water all kind of leveled out. I'm gonna put the media in now. Now that we washed it, and that fills up more than I thought it would. I was a little concerned that maybe they had skimped on that, but no, this looks pretty good. I guess. What do I know? But it all sits up there. That looks good. These are all about 890 grams for each one. Yes, I weighed them. Why? I don't know. That's just what I do. I'm going to divide something up. I want to know that they're evenly divided. Put this on here. Everything's heavy now. I guess when you put 4 gallons of water in them, they get heavy. Maybe I should have spaced them all out before I did that. Now let's plug it back in. See how it goes. Certainly don't make as much noise now, do they? All right, let me get you off that thing and we'll take a little tour. All right, so if you look close, you can see the water is going into them. This one's not down as far, so you can see it a little bit better. This one is doing the same as the other. This one has a little less flow, and I don't know why. I may have to take this one apart and see if I can figure that out. And then this doesn't really look like it's doing anything, but it's pumping water. The water level has gone down, so let me see if I can get you in there where you can see that. So I put a piece of tape in there, and I put a mark on that where it's kind of like full, and then red gets up to full. But right now we're way down here. So if it's turned off, it's gonna go up to that black line, but the run line seems to be down here. So, interesting. I'll let it run for a while, let the clay balls absorb, and wow, it's hot in the sun, and see what the run level is on that. But everything's kind of like I had planned. There's the junction box, the air box, the air pump box with the front door on it. And this weekend, I think we'll go and get some plants and see what it takes to put them in there. Interesting project so far. The water's been running overnight, and I had to add, I don't know, maybe another gallon and a half to this to get it up to the line that I had drawn on it before. And then I took some measurements and did some maths, and it looks like this is totally about 20 gallons. Each bucket is about 4 gallons each. Yes, 5 gallons, 5 buckets, 4 gallons each, 20 gallons total. I've got to check the pH. I have checked the pH, but I'll show you. I got this meter, and let's just stick it down in here and swirl it around for a little bit. And then I'll press hold, and I'm at about 7.4. That's a little high. It should be between 5.5 and 6.5. So to lower the pH, I've got pH down. Creative naming. Now, the instructions aren't real clear on this. It says use sparingly. What's sparingly? Add it to the solution, and then test the pH. And then repeat the application until you get what you want. So since I know I'm at 7.4, I guess I'll just put a known amount in. I gave you this dropper thing. And it's got little milliliter marks on it. And then I'll have to let it run for a while. I don't know how long it takes to circulate this entire system. So I'm going to sparingly put it into the first little line. And then I'm going to have to wait for it to circulate the whole thing. I think it's like a 30 gallon per minute pump, but I don't think it's getting 30 gallons per minute. So I'll probably wait a little bit longer and then test it again. I'll bring you back. Okay, so I ended up adding 1/4 milliliter 6 times. So what's that, 1.5 milliliters? Yeah. And then I was checking the buckets at either end off the reservoir, and I could see that it was changing. So the reservoir, I was shooting for 6. They say 5.5 to 6.5, so I was shooting for 6. The reservoir is like 5.3, and the other ends are like right about 6 and a little bit. So I think they're going to balance out. I'm just going to let them run now. I'm not going to mess with it. It's a little bit of an irresistible thing to just fiddle with. So I'm going to let it run for a while, and if that all looks like it's what I want it to be, then we're going to put some nutrients in it. Won't that be fun? Okay, with the pH finally balanced, which I had to add quite a bit more to it. I think I'm up to 3 milliliters of the pH down to get it. It's just below 6 or so, right around in that range. All of the buckets are slightly different, and I want to get some nutrient in it. This is a 3-stage nutrient. It's got the Flora Micro, which is supposed to be all around, and then the Grow, which is in the early stages where the plant's developing foliage and stuff, and then the Bloom for the seeding or blooming or fruiting stage. We decided today that what we're going to plant is strawberries. And the strawberries that we bought, we bought starts. The strawberries are already flowering, and some of them, and they're small, some of them have fruit on them or just beginning. So I'm going to add all 3 of these to it, which is okay. I read the instructions on it, and I'm also going to do a little bit lighter load on it. I read that when you first move a plant into hydroponics, you should have about half or so of the nutrient load that you will normally. So especially one that's transferring from soil into hydroponic. So I am going to add, the full load would be 5 teaspoons total of each one of these, 1/4 teaspoon per gallon. But I'm only going to add 1 tablespoon. So it's a little more than a half load. It's what, 3/5 or 60% instead of 50%. So I'm going to do that now. To prevent you from watching me unpackage these, I opened them up and pulled off the little plastic lids, the little seal. They were very difficult to get off. Usually those things are great, right? They got the little tab that you can pull up and pull off. These ones were really strong and held on very, very well. So the instructions really caution against mixing the nutrients in their concentrated form directly together. because of something called nutrient lockout. I'm not 100% sure what that means. I know it means that the plants can't uptake it very well, and it has to do with the chemicals. But I'm going to apply them slowly to the reservoir so that I don't end up with a high concentration of nutrients. That was the flora grow. That's the stage that's supposed to help the foliage grow. This is the flora micro. It's the one that is supposed to be general. You always use the micro regardless. And then if you want to, that colored the water. If you want to use either the bloom or the grow rather than both, I spilled a little bit. Then you would just combine, for example, during the fruiting stage, the micro and the bloom. But if it's early, you'd have the micro and the grow. So now I'll put the bloom in. I think I may want to wait a little bit because I can actually see this dark purple color in the water. I'll bring you over here and see if I can show you. See how that white, it's kind of hard to tell, isn't it? The white fitting down there looks a little purplish. That's because the meaty, or the micro is very purple and seems to have colored the water more than I would have expected. I don't know if I can get you a better picture of that or not. I was kind of looking for these to show a little bit of that purple, but they haven't yet. And it just may be that it's too fine a stream to do that. Now we'll do the bloom. Maybe I should have just put it in a different bucket, right? Put one in each of 3 buckets and then let them combine that way. It's not a terrible idea. All right, and that was the flora bloom. So we will let that circulate for a while, and then I will check the pH again, and then I will check the total dissolved solids and the electroconductivity. That's fancy, isn't it? That just means sticking a meter in there and seeing what it says. All right, I'll be back after this circulates for a while. All right, so we've got these strawberries. You can see they've got fruits actually beginning on them. I don't know if that's good or bad. These are seascape. And what I need to do is get all of the dirt off of this, and then just put them in the balls. But I've got to get all the dirt off, because apparently if I don't, it can easily introduce pathogens and bacteria and other things into it that we don't necessarily want. So I gotta rinse these things out a little bit, I think. Just because. And then I'm gonna put some water in this, because after I get them cleaned off, I'm gonna put them in this plastic thing, just so the roots don't dry out while I'm doing it. And I will save a lot of the dirt from this. There's a lot of dirt that kind of sticks into it. And here, I'll lightly wash it off. I don't know if this is a good idea or not. As the videos that I watched on this just talked about, you know, massaging it and separating them all out. Some of the roots are dark colored, so it makes it look like there's still dirt in there. See these dark roots here. I don't know if that's good or bad. I don't have any experience with strawberries. Then I'm just going to set them down in here where there's moisture for them to not dry out, and move on to the next one. This one actually looks like it might be 2 plants. And I've got about that much dirt. Soil, dirt, compost, potting mix. Now, what I need to do is get some of these rocks out of here, or some of these clay balls out of here, so I can put the plant down in there. I'm just gonna scoop them all out. One of the videos that I watched talked about trying to thread some of the roots down through the basket, and so I'll try that. So let's pick this one. It's got decent roots. Kind of put them all out and see if I can get at least one of them to go down through the basket hole. That way I know there's some moisture that it can get. How deep? You suppose about maybe like that? All right, so that's that one. I'm pretty happy with the way that is sitting in there. And moving on to the next one. All right, let's do this one next. I moved just so you see a different angle at least. Although, you know, me taking these out is the same either way. You can see the water in the bottom of it as I dig down. And I'll pick another one. Let's pick this one. See if I can get some of these to go down into the basket holes. They don't really want to. So I'll just kind of hold it. All right, 2 down, 2 to go. Okay, how's that one look? I guess the nice thing about them being light is I could kind of tug the plant up a little bit, and it helps position it. All right. That all looks good. Turn this back on. Have a little bit of a flood in there. Hopefully it doesn't short circuit. When it's turned off, the level rises, and when it rises, the water gets up to the electrical connector here, which is not good. So now everything it's back down to its run level. I can turn the drains on. And it's all circulating. So let's take a closer look. So you can see the water going into it. The plant's all happily standing there in the media. See, the bucket is down here now. It was up that high. And these are all running like they should. Put this back on. Good to go. All right, when do we get to make strawberry shortcake? The question is now, I guess, what do I think of this buying a kit versus building it myself? I'm not unhappy that I bought the kit. I learned a lot. I now see a lot of the reasons things can be done the way they're going to be done. I can also see some improvements that I would like to make. One of the issues that I have with this particular kit is it's really designed to be set up one way. It's not really designed to be taken down. We live in a Pacific Northwest, and it does get cold here, and there's really no way to take it down. Everything is friction fit and does not come apart very well, like at all. In the process of trying to take apart one piece and to investigate why this one bucket was low, the little manifold broke, and I had to go to my local home improvement store and find some stuff. It's not quite flowing as well as it was before. We'll see how that goes. If it goes okay, I will leave it. If it doesn't look like enough water is flowing for the plants, I'll find another solution for it. But we had the plants. I needed to get that done. So here we are. I show a picture of what broke and what I replaced it with. If I was going to add, say, another level or expand an outdoor hydroponic garden, I wouldn't buy another kit. There's nothing wrong with this kit other than the things, that I've just mentioned. It's just I would want to build it so that I could take it apart. I would use screw fittings or unions or things where I could take it apart and readjust it or change it. I would like to be able to have a reservoir that was large enough to hold all 20 gallons of water that's in use. I guess if it was going to hold all of it, it'd be 4 or 5 times the number of buckets. So it could still be 20 gallons. It could be, 12 gallons. It could be 16 gallons. But that way you could drain a bucket out of it. If you're going to run the buckets with the water level up to the bottom of the baskets like they say, that puts the water level inside the reservoir right up to the bottom of the electrical connection. So if I was building one myself, I would bring the electrical in a little bit differently. I would look for something that had longer cords so that there wasn't a connection, because it's just like a 12-volt connection right there. I would do that a little bit differently. I would make sure I had plenty of water flow to all of the locations, and that I could pull them out and replace them fairly easily with non-metric parts. When I needed to go to the home improvement store to find some fittings that would work, well, this is 5/16 inside diameter tubing, which is not very popular or not very common. Fortunately, it could fit over a 1/4 inch outside diameter, so that I could make the connection to the little white thing that I showed you in the picture. So overall, you know, I'm glad I did this. I think I got all the parts and pieces. I wouldn't have thought of some of them, but they make sense. So it's good to have that kind of direction. But if I expand it, or maybe next year, I will probably do something different. There's nothing wrong with the air pump, it just can't be out in the rain. There's nothing wrong with the pump, the water pump, its power supply just can't be out in the rain. And I have it outdoors. So I would find a different way to do all of that stuff. But I'm gonna see how this works. Strawberries might not have been the best choice. It's a perennial plant, but they're supposed to be really great with buckets or with hydroponics systems, this DWC type of hydroponics. So, you know, we'll see how this year's goes to see if I'm going to keep on doing it. So I will have future updates on this to see, you know, to show off how it's doing or not doing, or what it's doing, if it's doing good, if it's doing bad, or whatever. Should do well if I keep up on it. Be interesting to see how it goes when we go out of town and leave it alone for a while. So anyhow, I hope there was some value in this, some interest in how I did this or what I did, and in the interest of how it turns out. So anyhow, that's all for now. Thanks for watching.